Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Ayurvedic cleanse, seasonal cleanse, the first cleanse of the season, let's say. And tonight we're going to talk about an end of summer, beginning of autumn cleanse. Okay, you can always check out our website for the upcoming workshops from my teachers. Beautiful trainings, workshops, and webinars are coming up in the coming months. So tonight, first we're going to talk a little bit about Ayurveda. How many of you are familiar with Ayurveda? Have you ever done an Ayurvedic cleanse? If you just can maybe raise your hand, or if you want to say a few words, if you ever experienced an Ayurvedic cleanse, a panchakarma, then this presentation will probably give you some basics. I hope so. I'm going to share my screen. All right, tonight we're going to talk about Ayurveda first, a little bit of the basics, the fundamentals of Ayurveda, and then basics of a cleanse, and specifically this end of summer and beginning of autumn cleanse. Starting with the word Ayurveda, in Sanskrit term, it means science of life. It's one of the oldest holistic medical systems in the world. For thousands of years, it's been around. Ayu means life or daily living, and Veda is knowing. And it's the basis of the modern term holistic medical system today. It's the art of living wisely. Ayurveda, the difference of Ayurveda from kind of the modern medical system is it's really aiming to empower you as the healer. Ayurveda sees everyone as the healer, himself, herself, and it empowers you with the help of nature's healing power to continue your wellness journey to heal yourself. It's very unique in that sense. You take responsibility, you learn how to be in tune with nature, and then you heal yourself. That's something amazing. That's something amazed me in my story. About my story, I met with Ayurveda about 4 years ago in Switzerland, actually. I first met 5 years ago during my yoga teacher training. For a year or so, I started to have some symptoms of premenopause, some hormonal changes with problems. I started to gain weight, although I was living perfectly healthy, I thought. I was doing juice cleanses and, all these different kinds of detoxes and cleanses. But I never felt comfortable in my belly, in my tummy. I always had some digestive issues, gas, bloating, and all that. I had some skin problems, energy, fatigue, and all that. So this is how I ended up into an Ayurvedic doctor's office for the first time, and he told me that we should be doing a cleanse. And I thought, yeah, I'm good with cleanses, why not? And then I realized that this cleanse is so much different from the cleanses I did before. Learned my own constitution, those Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. I learned that, not everything is geared for everyone. We have our unique needs. And so Ayurveda gave me the chance to understand my own nature, my own constitution, and then do a cleanse according to my constitution. That was very new to me. And then I did it for 3 months, and then I went to Sri Lanka for an Ayurvedic retreat. But it was a very deep retreat where you have a lot of lessons and classes, and you work with doctors. It was like on-the-spot internship kind of retreat. I really enjoyed that. And then by the end of that, when I came back, I finished the panchakarma, which is the deep cleansing in Ayurveda. It's a very long and deep process. It's not the one where I suggest here to do together. It's supposed to be done with an Ayurvedic doctor, and ideally in an Ayurvedic center, that you go for a couple of weeks, you stay there, and you get a lot of treatments in terms of massage and food and oils and different treatments. And you do a deep cleansing there. The part we're going to do in this cleanse, in the upcoming cleanse, is like the first part of a panchakarma. When you start doing this cleanse, it's the preparation for a panchakarma. So if you'd like to continue with that, you can do. And in Switzerland, there are some nice, in Germany, in Switzerland, they are very nice, and I'm sure in the US, many centers who do that. So that's my story. And after that, the beauty is, I lost weight. I learned to deal with my digestive system, and the sleep, the mood, and everything went better. My hair, my skin, everything developed and improved so much better. The beauty is, it's not like a once-off thing. You just keep repeating what you learn, of course, you sometimes get off the wagon, and then once you know this technique, you just get on the wagon as easy as life it is, you know? So that's why I really enjoy Ayurveda. And then I decided to get a training. So I did my Ayurvedic nutrition training last winter with Laura Plum. So since then, I have my certification for the Ayurvedic nutrition and cleanses. And I just registered myself into another training for Ayurvedic culinary. So I'm really excited to continue in that area and to share with you all. So some basics about Ayurveda. As I said, Ayurveda is based on nature. It uses nature's healing power, healing energy, and it is based on the nature's 5 elements. These 5 elements are obviously the ones you know: space, air, fire, water, and earth. The whole universe is made up of these 5 elements. And each element has its own unique qualities, which I'm going to go through. And with these qualities, we learn more about the nature around us and within us. Everything in nature, including us, is made up of these elements and the qualities of these elements. And the doshas you heard in Ayurveda is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, are like bioenergies that are made up of these unique combinations of these elements. Okay? So these 5 elements get into unique combinations, and they create these doshas, which become a part of your body, mind, and spirit. Okay? I'm going to go more in detail. So, to understand the qualities of each element means to understand your dosha, to understand your environment, your nature around us and within us. Let's start from the space. And the space element is all about this vastness, this extensiveness, and it's cold, and it's the other qualities are it's cold, it's light, it's big, it's expansive. The space element brings you qualities like this. And then the air, we're following an order here actually. Air, when you think of air, it's about movement. It's about, again, it's a little bit cooler. And then with the air, with the wind comes some dryness maybe. And it's more about movement. Think of air as the space in movement. These are the qualities of the air. And then fire, which is the most obvious element, I guess, is of course it's hot, it's sharp, it's also clear, and it's what else do you think of fire? There's clarity, there's light, there's warmth, right? When you think of fire, these are the qualities of fire. And then water is obviously cold, cooler, if you compare to fire, for instance. And then water is also heavy. You know, it's not as light as air or space. And then water is cohesion. Water is bringing things together. It's a place of life as well in itself, and it's quite heavy. So these are the elements. And then there is earth, of course, which is not here. I don't know why. Earth is the element of, it's more heavy. It's cool again, like water. There are a lot of similarities with water, but it's also stability. It's the grounding. Think of earth as the soil, as the trees, as the nature. So it's a lot of heaviness, solidity, and grounding in the earth. Okay. So thinking of these 5 elements, we're going to bring them together to see how they manifest in nature and in people, because we're part of nature. Also animals and plants and everything in nature. So Vata is the dosha which brings air and space. So all the qualities of air and space get together. As you can see from the pictures, it's a lot of lightness, it's a lot of air, and it's also movement, like the butterflies, like the birds. What's this, ginger and aster, right? And all that kind of movement. So people with Vata dosha, they have a lot of movement, and they have a lot of lightness in their character inside out. Pitta is the combination of fire and water. So people with Pitta dosha, they have a lot of fire, they have this warmth, bit like the characters here. They're also very determined, they're very dedicated, committed, organized, and disciplined people. Whereas Vata people, they can be a little bit in the air, movement, a little bit foggy in the brain. They might be forgetful a little bit. Whereas Pitta people are like, yes, that's this, we do this, tomorrow we do this. They have plans and organization and discipline. And then Kapha people and Kapha, any being, is a combination of water and earth. So it brings all the kind of solidity, grounding, and also a lot of beauty, kindness, sweetness, just like the animals here, or the people who represent Kapha are like a little bit more cool and calm, and it's a bit like water and earth together. So once you know these three doshas and these qualities, all we need to do in life is to make sure that we have a balance, because we all have all these three doshas within us and all 5 elements within us. So all we need to do is to balance these elements so nothing goes out of balance, giving us some discomfort or some illness. So all these 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, they get together within you, and you, at the moment of conception, you get your own dosha from your parents. It's very interesting. And the moment the mood they are in at the moment of conception, it's very fun to, a bit weird, but this is how we get our doshas. And then with our lifestyle, with the way we live, with the place we live, some of these qualities or elements become more prominent, and we sometimes become more tuned into one of these doshas. This is our prakriti, this is our character. And then if one of these elements gets out of balance, too much accumulated within us, and if it creates some sort of illness within us, some discomfort, then it becomes our vikriti, and it's called dosha, actually. Doshas are imbalances. And what Ayurveda tries to do is to bring you back to the balance, okay? Bring those elements back to the balance. And if you're curious, if you're not sure about your dosha, you can take a look. There are a lot of different tests out there. One is from my teacher, Laura Plum. I'll send you the link later on. Another one is from Banyam Botanical. You probably know it better in the US, because they only distribute in the US. It's one of the best and highest qualities of Ayurvedic supplies. And their dosha quiz is like really very detailed and very nice. I'll send you the link. Does anyone know their dosha here? Actually, the best way to learn about your dosha is to visit an Ayurvedic practitioner, an Ayurvedic doctor, because there they make a very deep analysis. They look at your eyes, your tongue, your body, your structure, and when you talk, the moment you talk, a good Ayurvedic doctor, actually, the moment they see you, actually, they're like, okay, she's a Pitta Vata or a Kapha Pitta. They actually can find out who you are and how you are, and what is the character, prakriti, and what is the imbalance, the vikriti. They can make this analysis. But these tests are pretty close. Very interestingly, they're pretty close. Like I should say maybe 80%, they're close to the reality. And of course, we are a combination. You will see that you will be something like 6 Vata, 4 Pitta, and then 3 Kapha, something like that. We are all a unique combination of these three. You rarely find someone with like 100% Pitta or 100% Vata or something like that. We're usually, and you can be a tridoshic. There are some people who are equally Vata, Pitta, and Kapha.
Because you mentioned about being in balance, so is it good that someone is actually a mixture of all three, or no?
No, not like that. It's a balance of what you are made of. If you are made of a combination of 6 Vata, 4 Pitta, 2 Kapha, you want to keep it like that because you're happy with your character, with your constitution. But once a Kapha starts to go accumulated and exaggerated with the condition, you feel out of balance. That's the moment you feel out of balance. Tridoshic people, it's quite difficult to keep tridoshic balance, because you have to take care of all 3 doshas at the same time. Sometimes, in my opinion, you should ask the teachers there, but to me, it's easier to manage a Pitta only or a Vata only, And once you know your imbalances, sometimes your imbalances can be multiple as well. You might have a Kapha and Pitta imbalance. At that moment, you go for a priority. What is the priority for you in your character to work on the imbalance? And usually you go for what you are made of. If you are made of Pitta and you have a Pitta imbalance, you go for that. And you first work on bringing that back to balance. That's clear. It takes a bit of a while to get it. That's good. That's really fun. It's part of the Ayurvedic journey to learn about it. Once you start learning these, like me, right now, when I look at people, all I think is what dosha they are and, what's the imbalance. And it's a bit like when you do, can you see the presentation, by the way, right now? Good. When you do a yoga teacher training with Annie, for instance, if you do an anatomy training, you go out there and you see all the people with rounded backs and rounded shoulders, and you want to just help them correct their back pain and everything. So it's a bit like that. Then you become like, you go to the family, you check with your family and friends. It's really fun and it's really working well. Okay, so the importance of these doshas is when they are balanced, you have all the positive attributes of these doshas. And then when they are out of balance, you have some negative and more difficult parts of your doshas, and you start to feel those imbalances. For instance, let's take an example. Vata people, when they are balanced, they are creative, they are enthusiastic, they're adaptable, they are inspired people. But if the Vata dosha is out of balance, they become weak, anxious, ungrounded, disorganized, overwhelmed, and dull and heavy. They feel dull and heavy. They feel a bit gray. So this is the importance of keeping the doshas in balance. We want to have the positive attributes of our doshas rather than the most difficult part. Okay? If you take a look at these, actually, it's even here, without doing the test, you can understand if most of these attributes are the ones you feel when you are out of balance, you're probably having that imbalance. Like Pitta people, when they're out of balance, they become stressed, they become a bit overcritical, irritable, hypersensitive. And then Kapha people, they become fearful, weak, more depressed, like the earth element becoming too heavy. So they want to go under their kind of crust of the earth. Think of it that way, okay? Whereas when Kapha people are in their balanced state, they are relaxed, they're understand, they're stable, they're joyful, they're the kind of people you want to hug and stay on their lap. that kind of people. So that's why we want balance. Okay, talking too much about balance, how are we going to do that? Well, as I said, Ayurveda uses nature as the medicine, nature as the basis. And in nature, of course, we have many things, but the most important thing in our lives is the food and the drinks we bring into our body. So Ayurveda uses the medicine in food to balance. It uses other techniques too, but food is one of the most important part of Ayurvedic healing. And Ayurveda differentiates food into 6 different tastes. You might have heard there's the sweet, sour, salty, pungent, astringent, and bitter. I think sweet, sour, salty are quite obvious. Pungent is all the onions and garlics and chilies and red peppers. Astringent is usually less known. It's more the pomegranate, quinoa, tea, that the kind of food that brings dryness into your mouth. And bitter is the bitter taste of the rocket, aloe vera, coffee, cacao, curcuma, and turmeric, and all that are bitter tastes. Okay? Why is it important to understand these 6 tastes? Because each taste has unique combination of elements again. So this is the way you bring elements into your body. The choices you make in terms of 6 tastes is the choices of the elements you bring into your body. Okay? So if you're eating a lot of sweet, you bring a lot of earth and water. If you're eating a lot of sour, you bring a lot of earth and fire. Okay? Salt, obviously, is water. Salt. We get salt and the mouth gets watery, and that's how we taste food. Pungent, obviously, is fire. That spicy food is fire and air. Astringent is a lot of air and earth. And bitter is a lot of air and space. Okay? So it's very interesting that each taste brings in some elements. So if you're eating too much salty, for instance, you bring too much water. The swelling you get when you have a lot of salt in your body, right? I think you can remember that. So we say that a balanced meal should have 6 tastes in balance. But this balance will be unique to your unique constitution, okay? For you, a balanced meal should be a balanced taste of the opposite of your constitution, which is a bit complicated, but I'll come to that. For instance, this picture you see here, the rice fish with some sauce of coconut milk and some lemon, with some onions and peppers, with some leaves, bay leaves, for instance, and with some greens. You have all 6 tastes here. And when you say sweet is not only the sugary stuff. For instance, rice here is sweet, considered sweet. And lemon is sour, obviously. Fish is salty. Onions and peppers are pungent. Leaves are astringent. Greens are astringent and bitter. You see what I mean? You create a dish that is balanced in all 6 tastes, and you also consider your own constitution. For instance, if you are a Pitta person, it's better that you don't overdo too much pungent, too much hot and chili. And it's funny, like increases like, you probably as a Pitta person love chilies and hot and spicy. You want to put more of that. But then again, what happens if you put more of that? Your Pitta aggravates. You feel really hot, right? Or if you're a Vata person, you shouldn't be putting too much pungent taste, because pungent brings a lot of air and you are already full of air, and if you bring more air, you are bloated, you have gas, and that's sort of balancing. Okay? So for the first timers, it's a little bit complicated, I know, but once you know your constitution, there are a lot of guidance on what to eat, what not to eat, which I can send you the list. They're always available online. You can check and find. And when you do these tests online as well, they send you usually what you should avoid, what you should get. And now you know the reason why you should eat certain things and avoid others. So I'm going to take you towards the seasons now, because Ayurveda is very simple, but it's also very sophisticated. It considers these elements, but it also considers, as in nature, seasons. And even from the seasons, it considers all the circadian rhythm of the days of the time too. So everything has a dosha. And in the seasons, every season has the unique qualities of the doshas. And it's starting to become a bit simple for you, because, for instance, summer as a hot season has the qualities of Pitta, right? And fall and winter as the colder season, and the fall having the wind, is more the Vata. And then coming to the spring, the beginning of spring is a little bit cooler. So it's got the kapha, but towards the end of the spring, when it gets warmer, like in May, it has a little bit of Pitta. So this is the kind of this graphic shows it very well. The distribution of kapha, Pitta, Vata for the 4 seasons. Okay, why is it important? Because again, it always comes back to this notion of balance. For you to be able to tune into the season's qualities and to make a balance between your own qualities and the conditions around you, the weather, the soil, the food around you. That's why it's important to be in tune with seasons. And how you do this is actually, once you know the qualities of each dosha and each season, you simply apply the opposite elements. And actually, our bodies are so wise and so clever, you always do that. You are hot in summer, you go for water, right? You want to take a swim, you want to take a dip in cold water. You are cold in winter and you go for more soup, more teas, more warmer, a little bit heavier stuff. So that's why I say you don't have to worry a lot, except the fact that if you can tune into your body's own wisdom, then it really shows you what to do. And Ayurveda is very much about tuning into the body's wisdom and combining this mind, body, and spirit. Okay? And it's not only the seasons. Sometimes it's summer out there and internally you're feeling cold, right? You have a miserable cold day within you, even if it's sunshine outside. And again, Ayurveda advises to listen to your inner weather in a way. So, coming to the cleanses very soon, I just want to repeat a few things about seasons and how you can balance. So in winter, we go for pungent, astringent, bitter, sweet, and salty and sour foods because they bring more warmth, more fire into your body, right? Like heavier soups, gravies, and root vegetables, some heavier stuff to bring more balance there. Balancing the cold weather outside, let's say. So I'm talking about very typical condition, right? I'm not talking about tropical countries where they always have more or less the same, but all of us here, we know what 4 seasons mean. In spring, we have this nice weather, everything is blooming, and and it's more about bringing more lightness and cleansing. Spring is a great time for cleansing. As with the nature, our bodies also rejuvenate. It's a great time to eat green leafy vegetables and go for pungent, astringent, and bitter taste. It's a great time to do detox, actually. One of the best time of the year to do a detox is spring, but Ayurveda advises to do a cleanse 4 times in a year so that you get tuned into season's qualities. And now coming to the summer, finally. Summer is the time where we have hot weather, and there's a lot of heat outside, so you want to bring in more coolness, more soothing, calming food, and that we need from the taste: sweet, astringent, and bitter. And as you can see from the pictures, a lot of green herbs are astringent. They bring a lot of lightness into our bodies. You can eat more raw food compared to winter, for instance. And then a lot of salads and sweetness in terms of not only the sugars, but also like sweet potatoes and carrots. All those are sweet too. Fruits, obviously, in summer is very good to balance. And when it comes to autumn, and now we are at the edge of the end of summer and starting of the autumn, it's the season of Vata. We need more hearty and grounding food, more sweet, salty, and sour. And the best representation is sweet potatoes. They are the root vegetables. They are sweet. They're heavy. They bring that balance of the Vata's air. So this is how we kind of think and plan our meals according to the season, just applying the opposite qualities of each season. Okay? Because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make sure that our digestive power always stays strong no matter what. Because in Ayurveda, it's not you are not what you eat, as they say, the saying, you are what you eat. In Ayurveda, they say you are what you digest. Because if you cannot digest the food you eat, which happens if you don't eat according to the season and the dosha, then this food becomes toxin. The oldest Ayurvedic textures, one of the oldest Ayurvedic textures for thousands of years ago, Charaka Samhita, there's a nice saying. It says, all diseases are related to the weakening of Agni, the digestive fire, or by their intense and excessive activity. And in fact, if you look at the modern medicine, functional medicine and all that, they are now, in the recent years, very much giving importance to the digestive power, right? They say your intestines have the same nerves as your brain, it's the second brain, and now the modern medicine is supporting this with their own studies, that digestive energy and digestive capacity is the most important in our health. So the suggestion to keep Agni and digestion strong is to seek balance in the way I described, eating seasonally, eating according to the season's quality, eating locally, because when you eat local, you actually eat seasonal, because you go to the market, farmer's market, and the farm is supposed to be bringing you the food of the season. And each seasonal food actually has the qualities required to balance. Like, for instance, in the springtime, we have all these bitter salads, right? Dandelions, rockets, and all that. And they bring a lot of air and the qualities of air, which we need in spring, because spring is heavy with kapha. So simply eating locally, you don't have to even think about that. But it's not always easy, I know. All our supermarkets are full of food that comes from all over the world. So it's very difficult to choose and find the real local one. Another suggestion is, of course, organic, as much as we can, being away from pesticides and all these harmful products that actually really weakens the digestive capacity. Eating fresh, Ayurveda actually advises to cook fresh, eat fresh every day, every meal even, which is on a practical basis not so easy. And eating the original one and not the packed product, going for the fresh product itself. And above all, of course, everything should be prepared for optimal digestion in the sattvic way. Sattva is the calm, cool, easy going way of eating, peaceful, mindful eating. Okay, this is the basis of Ayurveda and actually yoga.
I have a question. So,
Go ahead.
So in that list, what about your own dosha? That also, I mean, you need to eat according to that as well, right?
Exactly. That I'm going to just refer here now. This is like a build-up of from the previous slides where we talk about, balancing according to season, according to dosha, and then also adding this. But it's a very good point. Well done. And here, I want to tell the importance of cleanse and integrate the dosha. So the whole purpose to be able to keep the Agni strong, seeking balance. And so the cleanses, in a way, is helping you to overcome these difficulties you would have in terms of finding food seasonally, locally, organic, fresh, and original. Because life happens and we are not able to eat always in this perfect condition, and we might end up having some toxins. Toxins are called ama in Ayurveda. It's called ama, and toxins are accumulated in our digestive system, and then from there, if they are not handled, they are distributed in our bodies and minds, and they become illnesses. They find your weak points. They become a cold, a flu, an acne, allergies, and many other illnesses. Okay, so a cleanse is actually a good way to come back to what we want to do with our balancing doshas and seasons. Each season, if you do this cleanse, you have this kind of going back to your original constitution. It also, of course, it's also a great way to reset digestion and the receptors. The receptors, this is a very interesting topic, a long topic, but very shortly, we have receptors in the mouth. And let's say you're on a holiday, you are just, having fun, you're eating a lot of sweets, sugars and fats and all that. So the receptors become overly stimulated. But in a cleanse, what you do is you start eating a little bit bland, a little bit dull, obviously. And these receptors start to come back to its original state. And so that the healthy foods, the ones that are not too salty, not too sweet, not too fatty, becomes quite delicious again. So you don't need to keep on eating and searching for more salt, more sweet, and more fat. That's why a cleanse, doing it every 4 times in a year, is a perfect opportunity to reset these receptors. During the cleanses, you are motivated to slow down, do a lot of yoga, meditation, journaling, sleep more, rest more, which is actually managing your stress level, which is the most important factor, as you know, in our health now, disturbing your Agni, digestion, and all the other systems around it. Okay. So, how do you know you need a cleanse? This is the critical point. You know when to cleanse with some symptoms. I just put a few of them. There might be even more, but these are the most obvious ones. So, did you know that your tongue is one of the best points of kind of place to see if you have a lot of toxins and ama in your body? If it has a white coating on top, then you would understand that. I'm not going to show you pictures. It's a little bit disgusting, but you can Google yourself and see what a white coating on a tongue means. Then you would understand. And if you have, don't worry. It's not because you are dirty or you are toxic. It's just that your digestive system may be piled up some toxins, and there are, as I said, the cleanses and some other techniques will help you to get rid of it. So don't get panicked. I do have from time to time still, even if I'm trying to live Ayurvedic, I sometimes find this white coating on my tongue, and I don't get panicked anymore. But the first time I saw, I was like, oh, what is this? So another obvious one is if you have frequent gas, bloating, constipation, and other digestive problems, this is the first symptom of toxins or the weak agni, as we say. Your agni is weak. Headache, joint pains, muscle pains, those are also some symptoms. Sleep disorders, if you're waking up or finding difficult to fall asleep. If you find yourself stressed, overwhelmed, if you have some tightness, stiffness in the joints and muscles, that's another sign. And if your energy is low, even if you sleep enough that you wake up tired, and if you find yourself very moody, even if it's not your PMS, and if you have some brain fog, concentration problems, you start to forget things, some memory problems, these are some of the signs that your agni is weakened and your body asks for a cleanse. Have you got any of these symptoms these days? Any of you have these symptoms?
I have all of them, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay, you're not the only one, don't worry. Ayurveda uses, usually supplements are used 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months maximum, and then you stop, because the idea is to be able to bring your body back to balance and ignite your agni, get strong agni, so that you don't have to be dependent on anything. You just, live and eat naturally. So probiotics are fine, they're good, but the fact that you go back to your previous conditions is a sign that your agni is actually not strong enough. It's just a temporary solution, but you actually have to do a little bit deeper cleaning. And in fact, my Ayurvedic doctor told me that if your agni is weak, if you have some candida and all that, the probiotic actually is feeding the good bacteria as well as bad bacteria. Because you didn't do the cleansing properly first, you actually feed the bad bacteria. So it's actually not advised to take any probiotics during a cleanse or until the point where you feel like, okay, my agni is strong, I don't have any of these symptoms, my digestion is working perfect. That might be a good time to start a probiotic, just to make sure, if you are worried, to make sure that you have even stronger. Very much advised to drink lassi. Lassi is made up of yogurt and water, ayran in Turkish. So it's very much advised. So yogurt is probiotic. So it uses probiotics naturally, but not as a supplement. So you can go back to these questions. I'm going to send you a version of these presentations afterwards. What are the benefits of a cleanse? Obviously connected to the symptoms. You're going to optimize your digestion. You're going to balance your dosha according to the season, according to the cleanse you do. And this should be adjusted to your dosha. So even if for instance, the program we're going to do, you're going to adjust it according to your dosha, and you see that everything will get back to balance. And in the end, you burn away toxins. And very important point is optimize the absorption of nutrients from food. Because if you have a weak agni, you may not be able to absorb enough nutrients. A lot of women have iron deficiency, for instance. Maybe some of you have iron deficiency. One of the reasons is because it's not because you don't eat enough, but it's because your body cannot absorb it because it's already, there's weak digestion. This I had for many years, iron deficiency. And even if I take the supplements, it didn't work. And now I know that it's because my digestion was not strong enough. And this you can see in your tongue if you're not able to absorb nutrients. It's super interesting. And then improve ojas. Ojas means in Ayurveda, it's a very special term. It means immunity, energy, strength, sense of joy, sense of calm, blissful, and that happiness you have in life, that joy. Every morning you wake up and you say, yeah, this is a good morning. It's not inside you go like, oh, again another morning. That's the opposite of ojas. So during the cleanse and after the cleanse, our main goal is to improve our ojas. Okay. My case, how do I feel after a cleanse? This is me. This is my words. And every time I do a cleanse, I feel lighter, energetic, stronger. I feel calmer. I am a Vata. I'm a very Vata Pitta person, combination of Vata Pitta. So I can be very overwhelmed. So I feel calmer and happier and clearer. My mind gets clearer after a detox, a cleanse. The protocol, the very simple protocol, is about clean and easy sattvic diet, daily rituals, a lot of rest, a lot of sleep, movement, obviously, but very light movement, no heavy exercise, and connection with nature. A little bit of disconnection from the digitals and connection with the nature. This is the very simple protocol of actually any cleanse, any detox program you see in the market everywhere. They all talk about more or less these 5 elements: clean diet, daily rituals, sleep, rest, movement, and connection with nature. But the difference of Ayurvedic cleanses is you go detailed into your own dosha, and you introduce some very efficient and effective rituals like a tongue scraping, oil pulling, abhyanga. This changed my life completely. Can't tell you how great this simple technique. And simple teas like a cumin, coriander, fennel tea. All of these, which I'm going to go in detail in the program and teach the people in the program, is a very simple way of dealing with something really complex and really important. So this is all I got in terms of Ayurveda and an Ayurvedic cleanse. We are going to start a cleanse together with a group as of Sunday evening at 8 o'clock again, the first live call. And then on Wednesday evening, like a midweek call. And then at the end, Sunday, again, we have another call. This is going to be more like a Q&A. And throughout the week, I'm going to cook and send you different teas and foods from the list I provide you. I give you all the documents for like recipes, meal plans, daily routines. You're going to log into a website and you're going to find everything in one place. Some meditation recordings, yoga recordings, and a daily routine. That's one of the most important things to do in a cleanse. Okay? And then, if you want to join, it's 75 francs for the whole week, including all the documents, access to your website, your membership to the website, everything included. It's 75 francs. And then that's all about it from my side. You can check out other programs that I'm providing. I have another 8 weeks program, which includes the detox as well, but it's an 8 weeks program. You can take a look at my website and Beyond Yoga website. There are a lot of ideas, recipes, suggestions, and very detailed, informative blog posts, especially in Beyond Yoga. And you can check out my YouTube for some yoga classes. And that's it from me. I want to leave you with something I really enjoyed reading. It was somewhere I found this. It says, "Do not eat unless you feel hungry, and not drink unless you are thirsty. Do not eat when you feel thirsty, and do not drink when you feel hungry. Chew food thoroughly. Focus your mind and be aware of the taste and textures of the food." I think this summarizes all the detox and cleanses are trying to do, what they're trying to do. If we can apply these into our lives, I think we're there, we're done. So thank you so much for joining.
One question, Ceylan. So after this cleansing program, so can we still access, or is only for 1 week?
Yeah, you can still access to the website. You will have this username, password, you will join, and then from the website we're going to keep that page for you.
Okay, so what's included in that page? Is it like yoga videos that you mentioned, or?
Let me share the screen again. So you're going to receive a document, a PDF document, which gives you basic information, recipes, and meal plan, and then the ideas of a daily routine. And then you're going to be able to reach to the videos like for Abhyanga. There's a link for how to do an Abhyanga. For Yoga Nidra, you're going to be reaching to a library for different Yoga Nidras. You're going to reach to my own meditation recordings and my yoga recordings. That's about it.
I have a question. So this cleanse will not be personalized based on your dosha, right? This is for all dosha.
It will be because you are going to, when you join the cleanse, I'm going to ask you to take the test and learn your dosha. And once you learn the dosha, you're going to be in the recipes. You're going to see that there's always a side note. If you are a kapha, add a little bit more spice. If you are a vata, don't use that much of spice. That sort of adjustment. So it will be personalized.
That's great.
Yeah, it's actually, you will become your own healer, and you will start to get this muscle of adaptation, changing according to your dosha. That's the beauty of Ayurveda. We're going to be running these cleanses 4 times in a year. There's one now, there's one in mid-October, one in winter, one in spring, and hopefully, we're going to continue doing 4 times in a year.
I'm curious. I remember when I was living in Istanbul, one of my managers, actually, they were going to this very known Ayurvedic doctor in Istanbul, and then they were going through this cleanse. And I remember that they were a little bit suffering because you need to buy special oils and special ingredients. I don't know.
Wonderful question. First of all, no special ingredients other than the ones you find in your supermarkets, maybe in the bio shops more, but all the shops in Switzerland, bio shops have those. There's a wonderful website that I buy my Ayurvedic ingredients and all that. Very reliable and good website, but nothing special other than the known spices like cumins and fennels and corianders and curcumas and all that. No special oils other than sesame oil and coconut oil. So nothing different than you can find in a simple, maybe bio shop, I would say, or this website. The second thing is that those weird things probably, no, not even. I mean, I've been to an Ayurvedic center and they're quite delicious and quite nice, but they might be quite bland, they're not too spicy or too tasty or too much of anything. They're like quite dull taste. The one you mentioned is probably khichdi, which is actually a delicious, yummy thing that I'm addicted now, I must say. The way we do in the western part of the world might be a little bit different than the khichdi they do in the Ayurvedic centers, obviously. And if you are sick, if you have a very special condition, then you might need something really specific, or actually something really very dull. No spice, no nothing. But the way we do it is a very edible and quite delicious, in my opinion, way of doing it. So I think you should expect to be introduced into delicious recipes, interesting and delicious recipes.
Sounds good.
I have a question about if we're interested in a longer program with you, would you recommend this cleanse still, or because you mentioned something about it being part of the
8-week program? Ça dépend.
Yeah.
It depends on your situation, on your purpose. The 8-week program is more, it's a holistic program of workouts and yoga, meditation, and it's a longer term. It's a big commitment, 8 weeks. If you have the capacity and time and energy and everything, resources to commit for 8 weeks, yeah, sure, that would be great. We don't do 8 weeks of cleansing though. It's just a little part of it. But if you need like a reset, a restart, a quick cleanse, if you would like to learn and do it with a group of people, like-minded people, you know, because there's the group psychology of motivating each other, supporting each other, then I suggest you go for the 7-day cleanse. But if you have resources and you want to integrate more the workouts and other parts, yeah, sure. Zen 15 is also another option. All good. So thank you so much for coming, for joining. I wish you a wonderful evening. And then if you'd like to join the program, I suggest you contact us tomorrow so that I can send you the necessary documents and all the information. I'd like to send it before Saturday so that you can do your shopping. That would be a good start on Sunday. Yeah, that's all about it. Looking forward to see you again. Thank you so much.